Good afternoon, all of you. So yesterday we started with trapezoidal rule, and for that we begin with developing an equation for Newton-Cotes that is called as Newton-Cotes formula. So it is given in equation number 3. We already discussed how to derive trapezoidal equation by using equation number 3, but still we briefly cover it once again and then we will move ahead. So in equation number 3, we put n equal to 1, and as we know the given area we divide into small segments. So x0, x1 will cover first area, x1, x2 second area, and so on. So what we do in this? So we calculate y0 corresponding to x0 and y1 corresponding to x1. And we join y0 and y1 by using a straight line. Here straight line is very important. Once you join these 2 points, so you can see the area which is hatched and whose boundary is highlighted by a red color, which will be a trapezoid, and its area can be calculated by using equation number 3. And when you put n equal to 1 in equation number 1, then in that equation the highlighted zone, that is, you can see here, so only these highlighted part will have certain significant value, and all remaining terms will have value close to 0. So all other higher terms which are there, which are having value close to 0. So for this given trapezoid, when you put the values in equation number 3, the equation will become h, because n will be 1 and h will be as it is, y0 plus 1 by 2, because here n is 1. So 1 by 2 del y0. So this will be the modified equation we get from equation number 3, where del y0 is nothing but y1 minus y0. So replace del y0 by y1 minus y0. Simplify this equation, and upon simplification, for given trapezoid, we will get area as h by 2 in bracket y0 plus y1. Thereafter, what we do, we calculate y2 corresponding to x2, and again we connect or we join y1 and y2 by using a straight line. So we get another trapezoid. So you can see a second trapezoid, and for that again we simplify equation number 3, and upon simplification we just a minute, upon simplification you will get equation h into y0 becomes y1, because the starting point is y1, and plus 1 by 2 del y1, y1 by 2, because n becomes 1 as we are taking n equal to 1, and del y0 becomes del y1, and put del y1 nothing but y1 y2 minus y0, sorry, y2 minus y1, and upon simplification you will get the area of second trapezoid as h by 2 into bracket y1 plus y2. So this is how we calculate the area of second trapezoid. Again, you can consider third trapezoid, you can calculate its area, and so on. So we need to repeat this process for all other remaining trapezoid, and for last trapezoid you will get area as h by 2 into bracket yn minus 1 plus yn. So this is how we use equation number 3 to calculate area of each trapezoid. And when you add these areas, ultimately we get area under the curve. And you can see here, when you add all these areas, you will get the final equation, that is h by 2 into bracket y0 plus yn plus 2 into y1 plus y2 up to yn minus 1. So this is how we derive trapezoidal rule. So from understanding point of view, you can see the first term is h by 2 plus into bracket, again there is another bracket where you need to sum y0 plus yn. So y0 plus yn, you can see, and plus 2 into bracket the all remaining values of y. So this is how you can memorize this particular formula. And again, in previous class we discussed, we calculate the area of the trapezoid, but during this process what happens, some area under the curve we missed. So you can see the red color part. So that part we didn't consider while calculating the area. So this particular area which is not considered in area of the trapezoid, so that is called as error. So that error will be there with the trapezoidal rule. And that's why in order to minimize that error, we take the value of h as small as possible. Means we divide the total area into very small segments of area so that the total error will be minimum. So this part we already discussed yesterday. Now we will move ahead with Simpson's 1/3 rule. So again, for Simpson's 1/3 rule, the process is just similar to trapezoidal rule. We will discuss here. So you can see the given area we divide into small segments, and each segment will have a value of h. But here interesting thing is that instead of n equal to 1, we put n equal to 2 in equation number 3. In trapezoidal rule, what we did, we put n equal to 2. Here what we are doing, we are putting n equal to 2, and we are considering 3 points: y0 corresponding to x0, y1 corresponding to x1, and y2 corresponding to x2. So these 3 points we are considering. In trapezoidal rule we considered 2 points, but here we are considering 3 points, and we are joining these 3 points y0, y1 and y2 by using a parabola. And when we do that, what happens? In the equation number 3, we take only the values which is, you can see, I bracketed the value that we are going to consider while deriving the equation. And what about remaining values? Because there are certain higher terms, so values of these higher terms will become 0. So that's why we will not consider those higher terms, and we are restricting to the 3 terms, that is y0 plus del y0 plus del square y0. And upon simplification, you can see you will get 2h, here I put h but it is actually 2h, plus into bracket y naught plus del y naught, because n is 2, so 2 by 2 becomes 1, so term is del y naught. Again, in this particular term we will put n equal to 2 and simplify. Upon simplification you will get 1 by 6 into del square y naught. And just like trapezoidal rule, what we will do, we will put the values of del y naught and the values of del square y naught and simplify the same just we did in case of trapezoidal rule. And upon simplification you will get the area for the y0, y1 and y2, that is the highlighted part. So for that you will get area as h by 3 into bracket y0 plus 4y1 plus y2. So this area is corresponding to the highlighted part. So we calculated the area, but again we need to go to the next 3 points. So next 3 points will be y2 corresponding to x2, y3 corresponding to x3 and y4 corresponding to x4. So we will say this is as x4. So this will be the next part, and again this part we are connecting by means of a parabola. So this will be the next area, and for which you have to calculate the area under the curve. So we will just consider the factors corresponding to equation number 3, and upon simplification you will get area under the curve as h by 3 into bracket y2 plus 4y3 plus y4, where you can find some similarity between these two equations. H by 3 as it is, instead of y0 here y2, because in this equation the starting point was y0, so here y0, and in this equation the starting point is y2, so here y2. Again 4y1 is replaced by 4y3 corresponding to second point, and y2 will be replaced by y4 corresponding to the third point. So this is how we develop equation for second parabola, and we will repeat this process till x becomes xn, and for that area will be h by 3 and yn minus 2 yn minus 4 yn minus 1 plus yn. So similarly we can calculate the areas for each parabola, and when we add these values we will get area under the curve. So what we did, we sum all these areas and simplify those equations. Upon simplification you will get integration, that is area under the curve as h by 3 plus into bracket, and again in the bracket there are 3 sub brackets. In first you add y0 and yn, that is first value of function and last value of the function, plus 4 into y1 plus y3 plus y6 up to yn minus 1, that is 4 into the values of y which are multiply or the which are the multiplications of 3. So these values will be there in this bracket, plus 2 into the remaining values, or in other words what we can say that instead of odd multiplied by 3 or 2, I would say the odd values will be multiplied to 4, and in last bracket the even values will be multiplied to 2, and this equation will be called as Simpson's one-third rule. So there is a little difference between the trapezoidal rule and Simpson's one-third rule. That is, the first term is h by 3. Again in bracket, there are 3 sub brackets. First sub bracket corresponding to the function value of first and last value, plus 4 into bracket odd values of the y, plus 2 into bracket even values of the y. So this is how you can memorize the equation. So this is the Simpson's one-third rule. Again, while applying Simpson's one-third rule, there are certain things we need to understand. First, we need to divide the intervals into even numbers. Why even numbers? Because we are considering 3 points, y0, y1 and y2. Means we are considering 2 trapezoids, we can say. That is, this is the first part and this is the second part. So that's why the whole area needs to be divided into even number of sub intervals. Otherwise, what will happen if the number of intervals are odd? Then at last there will be only one, what we say, the trapezoid. So for a single trapezoid, we cannot apply the rule. So that's why you must consider this point. That is, whenever you are applying Simpson's one-third rule, divide the whole area into even number of sub areas or even number of equal sub intervals. So this is very important case in this case. Now we will move ahead for Simpson's 3/8 rule. And here what we do, again we consider the Newton-Cotes formula, and here what we do, we put n equal to 3. So you can see here, we are putting n equal to 3 in equation number 3. So in trapezoidal rule, we put n equal to 1. In Simpson's one-third rule, we put n equal to 2. But in case of Simpson's 3/8 rule, we put n equal to 3. And here you can see, instead of one area or one trapezoid, in simple words, what we can say, we are considering 3 areas. That is between x1 and x0 first area, x2 and x1 second area, and x3 and x2 third area. So here we are considering these are 3 small regions or area. And in order to calculate the area for these sub-regions, what we do, we connect y0 corresponding to x0, y1, y2 and y3 by means of a polynomial of third order. So you can see here, we connected these 3 points by using polynomial which is of order 3. And when we do that, in the equation, you will get significant values up to del cube y0. There will be values for the remaining terms. So we can see the remaining terms. But these values will be very close to 0. So that's why we neglect all the higher terms and we consider up to del cube y0 in order to calculate the area. So you can see here, in the equation you can see n becomes 3, h as it is, into bracket y naught, n becomes 3, so the term will be 3 by 2 del y naught. Then this particular term will be simplified to 3 by 4 into del square y naught, plus this term will be converted to 1 by 8 del cube y naught, and all higher order terms will have a value which is very close to 0. So that's why we just ignore it. And again we put the value of del y naught, del square y naught, and del cube y naught and simplify the same. So for the highlighted region, you will get the area as 3h by 8 into bracket y naught plus 3y1 plus 3y2 plus y3. So this is for the 4 points, or we can say the 3 regions, which is between x0, x1, x2 and x3. So in next step, what we do, we consider x3, x4, x5 and x6, and for that we calculate the area, and that area will be given as 3h by 8 plus y3 plus 3y4 plus 3y5 plus y6. So these two areas are a bit analogical. Here y0, y1, y2 and y3 are there, and in next part it will be y3, 3y4 plus 3y5 and y6 will be there. And what you need to do, you need to repeat this process for all remaining sub areas or sub intervals, I would say. And once you do that, what you need to do in order to calculate the total area under the curve, you need to all the areas which you estimated for different regions. And once you do that and simplify the same, you will get an equation which is 3h by 8 into bracket, and again in bracket there are 3 sub-regions or sub-brackets. In first bracket, y0 plus yn is there. So y0, that is first functional value and the last functional value, plus 3 into y1 plus y2 plus y4 plus y5 up to yn minus 1, plus 2 into y3 plus y6 plus y9 up to yn minus 3. So you can see the difference. In third part, 2 is multiplied with the sum of all the values of y which are the divisible by 3, and remaining values you will see in second bracket, and whatever answer you will get, you just need to multiply it with 3. So this is how you can memorize this formula, and this formula is called as Simpson's 3/8 rule. So this is how we calculate the areas by using, just a minute, we calculate the areas by using trapezoidal rule. You can see we calculated the area by using trapezoidal rule. Then we calculate the area by using Simpson's 1/3 rule, and again area under the curve by using Simpson's 3/8 rule. When you put these 3 equations on the same paper, you can easily understand how to calculate the area by using each method and the difference between the formulas associated with it. Again, one interesting thing about the Simpson's 3/8 rule is that here we are considering 3 regions, and that's why you need to divide the number of intervals, which is the multiplication of 3. So this is important parameter you need to understand. Okay, and second important thing before we move ahead, in the examination, these are derivations, whatever derivation we saw for Simpson 3/8 or 1/3 or trapezoidal rule, these are derivations will not be asked. But a tricky question, for example, which value of n will be put into Newton-Cotes equation for Simpson's 3/8 rule? Such type of tricky questions will be asked to you. So that part you need to understand. And while solving the questions, you need to memorize these equations for Simpson's 3/8, 1/3 and trapezoidal rule. So these 3 equations you need to memorize. Okay, now we will go to the example so that you will understand how we calculate the area under the curve, or we take integration by using trapezoidal rule, Simpson's 1/3 rule and Simpson's 3/8 rule. So the question is, evaluate integration 0 to 6 dx upon 1 plus x square. So this integration is given to you, and you need to solve it by using trapezoidal rule, Simpson's 1/3 rule and Simpson's 3/8 rule. So what we will do here, we will divide the interval, because for integration the lower limit is 0 and upper limit is 6. So we divide this interval into 6 parts of width h equal to 1. Why we taken h equal to 1? Because that will simplify our calculations. Initial value will be 0, that is lower limit. Then 0 plus h, it will become 1. Then next value will be 0 plus 2h, so 2. Next value will be 3, 4, 5 and 6. So when you take h equal to 1, you will get integer value, that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So this will simplify your number of calculations. So that part you need to understand based on the given lower limit and upper limit in order to take the value of h. So that will simplify your calculations. Again, in this equation, the function f of x will be 1 upon 1 plus x square. So we have all the values of x, that is 0, 1, 2 and so on. And for each value of x, you can calculate f of x, that is the value of the function. And let's do that. Put x equal to 0 in this equation. So equation will become 1 upon 1 plus 0. So the answer will be 1. So this is how you will get the value of f of x for x equal to 1. And that will be assigned to y0. Then what we will do? We will put x equal to 1 in the function. So equation will become 1 upon 1 plus 1 square, that is 1 upon 1 by 1 upon 2, and the answer will be 0.5, and it will be assigned as or called as y1. Then what we will do? We will put x is equal to 2 in this equation. So equation will become 1 upon 1 plus 2 square. And we will simplify that, and upon simplification you will get f of x is equal to 0.2 and which will be assigned to y2. So this is how we calculate f of x3, f of x4, f of x5 and f of x6, and they are assigned to y0, y1, y2, y3, y4, y5 and y6. And why I'm writing y0, y1, y2? Because when you write the equation for either trapezoidal rule, Simpson's rule or Simpson's 3/8 rule, you will not get confused which value we have to put where. For example, you can see here we have total 7 values. This is the first value y0 and last value is y6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So in total we have 7 values of y. And we have general formula for trapezoidal rule, and that we simplify and we prepare the formula for the given problem. And we know that the first term is h by 2, that is there. Then in bracket there are 2 sub brackets. In first bracket you need to put the first value and the last value. So that's why in first bracket you can see y0 plus y6, first value and last value, and it's sum, plus 2 into, in second sub bracket you need to put all the remaining values of y. So you can see y1, y2, y3, y4 and y5. So in first sub bracket, first value of y and last value of y, and in second sub bracket all the remaining values of y will be there. Then you need to put the values of y in the equation. Y0 is y0 is 1, y6 0.027, y1 is 0.5. Similarly, put the values of y2, y3, y4 and y5 and simplify the equation. Upon simplification, you will get area under the curve or the integration as 1.4108. I will repeat the process once again for trapezoidal rule so that you will understand in a better way. So first what we do, we check the values of lower limit and upper limit. Based on these two values, we take the value of h in such a way that our calculations will be simple. So the lower limit is 0, upper limit is 6. So we divide this interval into 6 parts so that the starting value of h, the starting value will be 0. Then next value will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 6. So this is how we get integer values of x, so that our calculations will be simplified. Then inside the integration, whatever will be the equation, so that will be a function f of x. So f of x will be 1 upon 1 plus x square. And what you do, you put x equal to 0 in this equation and simplify that equation. So 1 upon 1 plus 0 square. So upon simplification you will get f of x will be 1. Then put x equal to 1 in the function and simplify. Upon simplification you will get f of x as 0.5. Similarly, put x equal to 2, x equal to 3, 4, 5 and 6, and every time you need to calculate the answer. And here you can see the values of y0, y1, y2, y3, y4, y5 and y6. Once you prepare this table, you need to write equation for trapezoidal rule, because previously we derived the formula for n number of values, but here total number of values equal to 7. So first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth and 7. So for 7 number of data points, you need to write the equation for trapezoidal rule. So the formula will be h by 2 into bracket. In that there will be two sub bracket. First sub bracket will consist of starting value and end value, plus 2 into sum of all the remaining values of y. So y1, y2, y3, y4 and y5. So again, put values of h, y0, y6, y1, y2, y3, y4, y5 and just calculate the answer. So you will get area under the curve as 1.4108. So this is how we apply trapezoidal rule to calculate the area under the curve or to solve the integration problem. Then we will move ahead. We already prepared this table. So now this time we will first of all write the equation for Simpson's 1/3 rule, which is equal to h by 3 plus into the bracket first value of y, that is y0, and last value of y, that is y6, plus 4 into the values of y1 plus y3 plus y5 plus 2 into e1 values of y, that is y2 plus y4. So first of all we need to write down the equation and then put the values. So h is 1, y0, y6, y1, y3, y5, y2, y4, and upon simplification you will get integration by using Simpson's 1/3 rule as 1.3662. Similarly, what we do, we write the formula for Simpson's 3/8 rule, where the first term is 3h by 8 into bracket, again in bracket there will be 3 sub bracket. In first sub bracket, the first value of y, that is y0, and last value of y, that is y6, plus 3 into bracket y1 plus y2 plus y4 plus y5, and plus 2 into bracket the values of y which are in multiplied of 3, that is y3. So this is y3, not y2. So this is how you write the formula. Then put the values of h and y. So h is 1, y0 is 1, y6 is 0.027. Similarly, y1, y2, y4, y5 and y5 and y3. So put these values, simplify this equation, and you will get in the solution of the integration as 1.3571. So one very interesting observation we can make here, that you will get different answer for different rule. That is, for Simpson's 3/8 rule, different answer. Simpson's 1/3 rule, different answer. And again, for trapezoidal, you will get different answer. And why you will get different answers? The answer is very simple, that the approach to calculate the area under the curve is different for different method, and that's why you will get different answers. Now we will move ahead. We will take another example. Or what we will do, we will stop here, and today we will have another lecture at 4 o'clock. So at that time, we will see more examples based on these three methods. So if you have any question, you can ask the same. Yeah, session is open.